coming. Left.
Welcome everybody to Training to Win, Reno to Verdi. We're just getting rolling here with the Procrastinating Pedalers of Reno, Nevada. And it's just to give you guys an idea of what's going on. This is a nice training ride. Now, we never know what this group is going to do. Sometimes we got some crazy fast guys in here, and we're going to just hang on for dear life. And other times it's a nice mellow ride with conversation, and everybody is courteous. And this ride is kind of in between. We're not going to kill ourselves, but by the time this ride is finished, you should be pretty tired. Now, I'm not a huge road racer. I mean, I like to race, but my best disciplines are the time trial and the crit ride. And the crit better than the TT. The road rides, the hills always kill me. And my strategy is going to be completely different from yours. If you're a road racer, you may have a number of skills, a number of talents that help you win. And mine is to stay in the group as long as possible and hopefully nip it at the finish line. So my strategy is to pretty much get a wheel and stay on it as best as possible. I'm always looking for somebody who is smooth, who's got a good cadence, like Dave and the yellow right in front of us, and who has some power to close gaps if they should open, but do it smoothly. And what I mean by that is that you don't want somebody to be sprinting up to every wheel that they see. They get a gap, they sprint to it, all of a sudden there's another gap, maybe they'll sprint to that. And the less sprints during a road race, the better. So what we want to do is try and find somebody who has the patience and the skill necessary to help you win a race. Even though in most races, winning is a solo effort, regardless, you have to rely on people in front of you. So right here, this is just a nice warm-up. And we'll warm up for a good, half an hour maybe a little less. We'll get on 4th Street. That's at the T intersection coming up. And from there it picks up a little bit. But when we get to that first hill climb, that's when it gets a little harder. Now, the other important thing in a road race is to pick a position in the pack, in the group, that isn't so close to the front that you're fighting the wind, but also isn't in the back. And not only is the back dangerous, if somebody goes down in front, chances are you'll go down with them. But it's also a risky place to be. with respect to getting separated from the group. The back has its advantages, like you have a big, nice, easy draft back there, but think of it like a rubber band. It just gets stretched out further and further, and eventually somewhere in the middle it snaps and you're caught out on the back, and with a big gap between you and whoever's up front. And closing gaps is not how you win races. Oh, nice and easy here. Keep your gear nice small gear, and pedaling cadence should be, easy. Here's a little hill, so let's just pretend that we're on this course, and let's pop it up into a bigger gear. And work our way up this hill. Now, the guys we're riding with, both of them up front, very experienced riders, very experienced racers. And if you know who you're riding with, those are the guys you want to look for. Chances are, every group that you're with is going to have a couple of young guys who are fast, who are wound like a tight spring, and just want to jump at every opportunity they get. If you've got 2 or 3 experienced guys in front of you, including yourself, you should be able to wind them back in without having to make a hard acceleration. Now, if this were a real race, this warm-up wouldn't exist. So, obviously, before any road race, warm up and stretch, get the legs moving, get the heart rate up, get a good glean of sweat on you. And my strategy has always been to go to the point where I'm really taxing myself, but not for a time long enough to really hurt myself. When you go from a warm-up to a race, and you go from your heart rate in the aerobic zone 70-80%, and then all of a sudden you're in a race and you're hitting a 90, 95, 98% of max, that'll not only demoralize you, but just kill you. If your body is halfway acclimated to that effort, it's just not going to hurt as bad. So before any race, I'm warming up, and I will shoot myself up to 89, 90% of max for 15-20 seconds, then recover and do it a couple more times. But again, there's a fine line between getting that threshold intensity where you're used to the effort levels to actually exhausting yourself. So you don't want to do that. And at the risk of sounding like I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Who's life is like a box of chocolates. Can't think of the name. Oh, racing is like a bag of marbles. You only got so many, and when you're out, you're out. And the more marbles you lose typically as a result of fast accelerations, the shorter you'll last. So the key to any race is trying to keep yourself in a position where you're working hard, but you're not accelerating unless you absolutely have to. And even if a gap opens up in front of you, depending on the distance, you don't want to sprint up to the wheel. You want to slowly ride up to the wheel. Be patient. Don't panic. And do not lose any marbles in that chase. A lot of times, if you're second or third back, like we are now, somebody will come around screaming past you. And the instinct is to get out of the saddle and cover the gap. But you got to remember, there's lots of people behind you, all wanting to do the same thing. And as that train goes by you, it starts stretching out. You get the benefit of the draft as they're actually passing. You can slowly start accelerating, getting up to speed. Eventually you'll have a wheel, and you'll never have sprinted to it. And you're riding comfortably, in control. And the guy up front who started the whole thing is dying. Make a right turn here, and we're gonna just go through this little subdivision called Mogul. Just a few more nice miles before the harder climbs start. And we're in a nice spot here. It's comfortable. Got a nice draft. Even though we're climbing, we're not working horribly hard. And everybody is pretty controlled right now. We're splitting the two riders, and that's always Real nice position to have if you can have it. There's a really nice bubble between them to draft. So let's just pick up the effort a little bit. Should be pretty engaged in the anaerobic zone here. Now again, like I said, everybody has their own strategy for winning a race. There's a lot of people who are gifted climbers. Whenever they see a hill, they'll take that opportunity to attack and knock you out of your game. If you're like me and you're not a hill climber, again, don't follow that brake. Try and get on a fast wheel, solid, somebody you can keep up with. You're saving 60% in wind resistance if you're behind somebody. And hopefully, once you get into a flat or a descent, even though the climber is off the front, he's all by himself. You and your group can pull him back, spend a lot less energy pulling back, sharing turns up front. Now we're going to come downhill a little bit and make a right turn. Almost immediately hit with a nice steep little climb. And this is where I usually get hurt. So, what I'm going to do, what I usually do, is I ride to the front. If I know a hill is coming, get up front on that hill. Be the first person in that lineup. Set a pace. Something difficult, but not to the point where it's hurting you. Chances are that whoever is behind you doesn't want to have to work any harder than they have to. So they don't come around you. So you establish your own pace and you ride that pace. And let whoever is behind you come around you. I'm not doing that here. But we're getting steeper, so let's get in our big gear up front, big ring, and slowly click up to a higher gear in the back. Should have a nice big gear going. You're really feeling the hill in your legs. And watch your heart rate shoot up. Stay in the saddle. Let's not waste any energy rocking back and forth. And we're still in the group. It's a good thing. It's getting steeper. Make sure you're at 90. All right, get a little break here. On the horizon there is the Sierra Nevadas. And we're entering Verdi. So as let our legs rest. Forrest Gump. Coast. That wasn't too bad. Now we get the wind in our face, and there's always a headwind here, pretty much a headwind all the way into Verdi. So we're feeling it a little bit. And we're going 19. And we're pedaling pretty good here, around 95. 100. Picking up the pace for the group behind us. I'm going to pull them a little bit. We're in our drops. Getting your drops. Keep the cadence high. Pick it up. Should be at 105. Spin out those legs. Get that lactic acid out from that climb. Get your heart rate up. Don't let yourself get too cold. Off to our left is the Truckee River. A 100 RPMs here. Comes a hill. Set the tempo. Off to our right, great single track access. Got a little hill coming. We're on it. Don't back off too much. I'm gonna slowly pick it up. Looking behind us, finding the end of the train, so we can roll in behind. And it gets a lot easier. We're in the back. Keep up your tempo. Slightly easier gear. Went one down from the climbing gear. And we're almost to the summit. Drop your gear down. And on the back, you're feeling the wind buffeting as you're in the slipstream. I'm recommending small gears so we can keep up the tempo, keep up the cadence. We don't want to fatigue our legs. We'd rather save those for the sprint. At least that's me again. We can always recover from high heart rates. So our body won't let us go beyond a certain effort level. 90% of your heart rate pushing a little gear, spinning. It's a whole different workout from 90% heart rate pushing a big gear. Keep your heart and lungs working. Try and give your legs as much break as possible. So we're spinning, keeping a cadence around 90-95 here. And even though you're at 84-85% right now of your max heart rate, which is not an easy level, it feels pretty comfortable right now. You're spinning fast, feeling strong. You feel like you have a sprint, and you feel like you can take these guys on the outside, but don't follow those instincts. Picking up tempo here. Higher cadence. I'm at a 42.5 right now. The gear ratio that you're looking at on your left is just a recommendation. Right now, I want you focusing on cadence. Keep your cadences around 100 and peg your heart rate. Little corner or turn to the right, up a short hill. It's usually a nice little sprint up to the rest stop. So pop it in a big gear and hammer up the hill. And back down. And relax. Coast. I'm gonna rest here. Let the group catch up. But the video will resume right away. Pinecone Road is coming up, and it's a good short, a quarter mile, about 14-15% grade. There's a couple of hills leading up to it, but it's short, and a lot of people really want to hit it early and fast. And when you're going 4 or 5 miles an hour, even a quarter mile.
How to use the dash. The dashboard is composed of a number of different tools that provide data which allow you to emulate the physical demands of the ride. The first and most important tool on the dash is the effort meter. The effort meter provides a graphical representation of how hard you should be working during a specific part of the ride. In this video, we're ascending a small climb while trying to keep a good pace for other riders behind us. Watch how the effort increases as we continue to ascend. The effort meter is color-coded to help you quickly know what zone you should be training in. Each zone is based on a percentage of your maximum effort. Be aware that the difficulty of each video is greatly dependent on the time spent in each zone. At the top of the effort meter is your heart rate goal, displayed as a percentage of your max. Percent of max is calculated as your actual heart rate divided by your max. This value can be used to challenge yourself further by teaching your body how to precisely regulate efforts. Some heart rate monitors allow you to input your max heart rate and then automatically calculate your percentage of max. The gear ratio and resistance indicator provides you with 2 ways to determine what gear or what resistance you should be working at. The gear ratio is the best way to make changes in resistance if you're on your bike and trainer. With shifters, you can quickly make changes to gearing to simulate changes in pedaling effort. This animation provides an idea of how the gear ratio works. Notice how above the blue line, the numbers are ascending from 1 to 10. This corresponds to the gear that's in your rear cassette. Below the blue line are the 2 rings in the front, 42 being the small ring, 52 being the large. The resistance value is a tool to be used if you're on a spin bike. Most spinners are comfortable with a 1 to 10 scale used in classes. Basically, a 1 is a soft pedaling, easy spin resistance, whereas a 10 is a slow, leg-churning, difficult grind where you have to force the crank arms to turn. The cadence value allows you to identify what your pedaling cadence should be. While the cadence, resistance, and heart rate indicators attempt to synchronize, often it's difficult to match everything at the same time. Start out using either cadence or resistance while matching the effort goals. Much like the effort tool, the power tool provides a graphical representation of how much power the cyclist is producing during a given time. The power tool is a nice alternative or backup to the resistance and gear ratio tools. The dashboard has 3 graphs. These are a really cool way to find out where you're located along the timeline of the ride. The graphs are divided by a bar, showing you where you're located along them. The top graph displays a hill profile. The middle graph displays the effort profile, and the bottom displays the power profile. Keeping your eyes on these are a great way to identify changes as they approach. The moving map provides some nice information about where you're cycling. Roads, topography, landmarks, rivers, lakes, and more can be identified so you don't feel lost on the ride. Also note, north is always up. I'm done. Have a great workout.